me.
Anyways, moving on to the next topic. We got some PS5 good news. They recently they've been playing with this beta update that they're working with. It's been going out to people, I guess, who signed up for the beta testing little program or whatever. But they're starting to allow people to get their consoles activated for those little SSD slots that they've put in there that we haven't been able to touch. People have checked it out when the console first released, after knowing that there was expansion slots in there, putting things in there, and the console saying, "Nah, we don't know what this is. Take it out. I'm not even gonna let you play anything." Right. But now that the software update is out, you know, there's all of these people that are trying these SSDs. They're talking about how it works just as good as the regular the standard SSD that's already in the console. So that's good news. We've seen a bunch of different articles and stuff giving you the lists of SSDs that have at least the theory of being just as good or the best ones to buy or whatnot. I don't know how many have been actually tested. I don't think all of them have, but you know, they're supposed to be like 7,000 megabytes per second or something like that. It's supposed to be around what you want. The PlayStation has 5,500 or something like that, and it can go up to 9,000. So you would want it at 7,000 or something like that, or at least more than 5,000. So maybe 6 would be your good base or whatever. And they have quite a few, but I was going to ask you, man, how you feel about these prices on these SSDs? Because I've been looking at some of them, and they're starting to get hefty, right? These one terabytes are almost like $300 for quite a few of them, you know, US dollars. And all I can think of is comparing it to the SSD expansion slot that was given out day one for the Xbox. And now that one's the Xbox, like 230 or 210 or something.
But there's only a 1 terabyte option.
Right.
So that would be the only thing I would say is that if you looked at the 500 gigabyte M.2 ones, they're like 120, 130. So you can save yourself $100. You only get half the storage, but you at least have the option for like a cheaper route. Where on the Xbox, you have to buy the 220 one.
Yeah.
What I'll say though is like, I think it's gonna happen already, man. The moment that Sony unlocks, and this is one reason why I think that they haven't unlocked it yet, because I was watching one video or one article where someone was mentioning how they kind of figured out the reason why Sony hadn't released the expansion slot yet for the solid state drive. And that was because like it was right behind the motherboard, I think, the slot where it gets hottest. And I think that Sony, they placed their SD slot expansion in the absolute wrong location. And I think they kind of realized that and say, you know, we can't let people do this because they're just going to go to Best Buy and buy, oh, hey, there's a $70 one there for 1 terabyte. I'll just plug that in. And it's going to burn up. They're going to burn up their system.
I did see that all of the SSDs that are recommended have to have heat sinks.
Yeah, it says you have to have one on there or buy one yourself and add it to it.
Right.
Because this is why. Because there's a heating issue right there but I believe, so whoever discovered that, I think is right. I think they nailed it on the head.
Yeah.
They found out that there's a heating issue with the slot in that location. So Sony realized and said, whoa, we have to pull the plug on a lot in the expansion slot until we figure this out.
Right.
Until we let people know
that it needs to be
someone needs to develop one with heat sinks on it.
And it's got to be the perfect height
and the perfect height and speed and the perfect height and speed. And so that's why there's been this long delay.
Right.
So
because you're waiting on all of these other companies to make them. They've got the parameters. You just got to make them. So once you guys make enough of them, then we'll.
And then Sony has to also make a disclaimer because they have a legitimate M.2 slot.
Right.
It's legitimate. It's not like proprietary.
Right.
So someone will, I think, in my opinion, I think this will happen. I think this is what Sony has not wanted to happen, who didn't follow the directions.
They'll put one without a heat
They'll
sink.
just go and buy one when it gets unlocked and burn their console up, and they'll be getting calls left and right.
So they have to
Can
have
you fix
something
my
that
console?
says we are not liable for your expansion slot upgrades or whatever if it does not carry a heatsink.
Exactly.
Or just maybe period. Maybe period.
Just period. If it doesn't carry a heatsink, we're not responsible.
Because I think that would probably be their best bet, because as long as PlayStation does not create one, then there's no backlash they can get. Hey, we're allowing it, but we're telling you that we are not held liable if your console burns up.
Exactly.
Because you decided to upgrade it. We didn't give you that option. We're not going to give you that option of purchasing one that has a PlayStation logo on it that you can plug in, because we know how hot it runs. So you take that at your own risk. If you would like to expand it that way, then boom. All my guests.
Exactly.
But we're not gonna give you a new console because you decided
understand
to do
the
that.
risk you're taking.
Yeah.
So
I would
if
just jerry rigged a freaking heatsink on there and you ain't do it properly or something like that. Your bitch burn up quick.
So it's like you're better off.
So your shit explode. Like
yeah, all of a sudden it just sizzles. Yeah. You're like, shoot, what happened?
You're like, damn,
you're gonna be sad.
Yeah.
Which is why you're probably better off buying the 280 or whatever 1 terabyte pre-made heatsink that's fitted and rated for the PS5.
Right.
Than playing games with your console and thinking you can just rig it. Mm-hmm. Just buy the one, man. If you want a terabyte, buy the one that is heat synced and ready to go. That's rated by Sony that says, "Yep, this one works."
Right. Yeah. That's what I would hope, that at least Sony says that we've tried this out in thousands of consoles and they have performed perfectly.
Works. Right.
Here's the ones, kind of like my camera that we use to record this. It says, "Hey, these are the SSDs that you can use to put your footage on. We don't recommend you using the other ones. These are the ones that work. You could try the other ones, buy them shits at your own risk. Here's what works." So as long as I stick to that list, I'm good.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping that they do for this.
And I agree with you. These are way too outrageous and priced, in my opinion, because I still feel that the expansion shot for the Xbox is $220 is still, in my opinion, too much money.
Yeah.
To expand your hard drive by just 1 terabyte.
Right.
Make it 150.
We get it.
150.
We understand why it's expensive, but it's just like, damn.
It's very expensive.
Yeah. You're damn near paying for half the console because you want to upgrade your storage a little bit.
That's the disconnect. That's the disconnect. It's like, wait a minute. So are you telling me that when I bought my PS5, half the price was just the solid state drive? That doesn't make sense. You have a CPU here, a GPU here, a motherboard, a heatsink, a design, a drive, and half my console is just the storage. Like, it's hard to believe that's true. But I will give Microsoft some kudos here in the sense that I think they chose the right route of just making their own proprietary stick. They don't have to worry about it. They don't have to worry about some dude who didn't follow the directions and just slipped his own in there, who went to Best Buy and just bought an M.2 slot and put one in.
Yeah.
You just know when you buy this, you know it's going to work. When you buy the one off the shelf, you know it's going to work. You slip it in, it's going to work exactly as Microsoft wanted it to work.
And it's far enough from the motherboard.
And it's far enough from the motherboard that you're not going to burn your system up. Yeah. I commend them for being, having that kind of foresight. That was a very good job on their part. Even though I'm still shocked by how much it is. It costs basically the same as an S. Mm-hmm. That one stick is almost as much as an entire Series S.
Yeah.
Like, that's really shocking to me.
Which is why we were saying, from the get-go when it first came out with all these prices, that you might as well just go ahead and get you the X.
Exactly.
Because if you ever contemplate that you might want to increase your storage.
You're spending $200 anyways. You're at $500 anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, you spending $20 more just to buy that card than if you had
You're
just
right.
got
Even
the
$20 more than
itself,
you're right.
the
You're
X.
spending $520 versus $500 for the same amount, right?
Right.
Almost the same amount. Mm-hmm. You'll have a little bit more space. You're going to 1.5, but still, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I still feel the same way about the pricing, but I laugh so much that Sony is like, oh, shoot, what do we do? People are going to burn their PS5s up.
Yeah.
You know it's going to happen, man. We're going to get the story, right?
Yep. I can't
PS5
wait to see the
owner
first
burnt his PlayStation.
I can't see the first one. I want to see his dumbass face when he's on there because he put that bitch in. He knew damn well he should have that heat sink. But hey, he wanted to try it and test it out and see what happened. Yeah. But on to the...
I love you, me.